Hey guys, this is Ashley with Baby Wearing International in Knoxville, and today I'm going to show you how to do a pocket wrap cross carry with a stretchy wrap. Stretchy wraps tend to be a favorite amongst new baby wearers with little babies. Most of us, stretchy wraps are our first carrier, and they're great because with this carry, with the pocket wrap cross carry, we're going to actually tie it completely onto our body before we put baby into it. So this is a great option if you're not really comfortable with wrapping yet, and it's also great for if you are running errands and you want to tie this onto your body and take baby in and out of it to get out of the car and whatnot. So it's a great way if you're worried about your wrap kind of dragging in the parking lot to go about wrapping. A lot of people tend to complain about the length of stretchy wraps. So with this carry, you actually are going to pretty much use up all the length of your wrap, but some people feel a little overwhelmed by the amount of wrap. And some people are also really not sure how to load baby into this carry. So there's a few different ways to do it. So this is my preferred suggested way of using a stretchy wrap, whether you have a 1-day-old or a 6-month-old that you're using this with. I'm using a Rhapsody Hybrid Stretch. It's a little different than regular stretchy wraps, but it'll work the same for this carry. But you could use this with your Mobi or Boba wrap or whatever you have. One thing to keep in mind with stretchy wraps is that you need 3 passes of fabric. So you are a little limited in the kind of carries that you can do. So this is one of 2 ways I'm going to show you how to do a front carry with your stretchy wrap. So you're going to start with your middle tag right here. And I like to put it right underneath my chin, and I like to pin it so that it doesn't move. And then we're gonna have these come underneath our arms. I like to reach behind me with my opposite arm and just grab the top. I don't wanna grab the whole wrap because sometimes it can tend to twist up, and that can be really uncomfortable. I'm kind of using my elbow to guide it up on my shoulder, make sure it doesn't get bunched or twisted. And then I take the whole amount of wrap and gather it up on my shoulder, but you can see how it's really nice and spread and flat on my back. This is going to make sure it's really nice and comfortable for me. If it's twisted or bunched at all, it can get really annoying. All right, and then grab the top rail again, top hem. I'm gonna have my elbow help me get it up there, and then bring it all up on my shoulder like that. Okay. So now you can see I have this pouch on the front. Some videos will tell you to fold it in half, which you can do if you're going to put your baby into this with their legs in, but I actually prefer to have baby legs out, and I like to have the whole amount of fabric to work with because sometimes when it's folded in half, it can be a little limiting. So, all right, from here, what I'm going to do is actually put these passes through my little pocket right here. I'm going to lower this down a little bit, and then I'm going to cross these. So what I like to do is reach in and grab the hem that's closest to my hand and bring it across. Again, this is making sure that it doesn't twist. So we want nice spread, untwisted passes of fabric. Okay, and then I'm going to bring this behind me. I obviously have a lot of fabric still back here, so I could tie in a knot, or I could bring it back around and tie in the front, depending on my size. So if you're a little more petite, you could maybe even cross it back behind you and tie again. For some people, they may be able to tie behind them just fine. Okay, so now I need to make a little bit of space for my baby in these cross passes and in this pocket. This can be the tricky part because you don't want too much space here because it can make it a little bit less secure and snug, but you also don't want it too tight where you can't even get your baby in. So finding that sweet spot is really important. But I have a little baby, she's 1 week old, so I don't need a ton of room to get her into this. But so this is what it should look like before I put my baby in. I have my cross passes, I have my little pouch down at the bottom. Everything's tied off, and I'm going to grab up my baby, which is Nola. She's a little more than 1 week old. Okay, Now, what we're gonna do is put her first leg through the cross that is closest to my body. So you can see this cross is inside this other cross. So I like to reach my hand through that cross of fabric and guide her little leg into the cross right there. Make sure her arm is in here. And then I'm holding her butt with this hand while I'm spreading the fabric with my other hand. And with this pass, we want to go from one knee to the other knee. You can see how the whole pass of fabric is all the way across her body. What are you doing? You kicking me? She's got hiccups, so she might be mad. And then I'm going to take this other cross of fabric, do the same thing, reach my hand through, guide her little leg in, get her arm tucked in, spread from one knee to the other knee. You can see it's really nice and spread. It's to the backs of her knees on both sides. All right. Okay, so you can see I have my 2 cross passes now. Now we need our third, which is where our pocket comes into play. I'm gonna pull on this a little bit and just get it up over her legs, and then pull up that fabric all the way up to her neck. So we want every pass of fabric to go from knees to neck. So this is spread from knees to neck this way, this is spread from knees to neck that way, and then this outside pocket is the same. All right, and if I needed to, I could actually kind of precision tighten this a little bit more. So I would just untie it, and if I have any areas that are loose, I just pull out that slack. And you can see how I just kind of like worked that around to my other cross right here, and then pulled it out down on the bottom. So if you find that you're loose, you can actually still kind of tighten things up a little bit more. If you find that you're too tight, you could do the same thing where you just kind of like loosen it and kind of shimmy and bounce her down so that she has a little more space. She's high enough to kiss, which is what we want. We want baby to be nice and high. I'm gonna retie this underneath her. All right, we want her legs in a nice position where her bottom is lower than her knees, but we don't want her knees overspread. We want her in a nice natural position like this. While baby's sleeping, sometimes they tend to tuck their face. So I like to be where you don't want any fabric in their face. So sometimes I'll actually just like fold that shoulder down just to make sure that she doesn't have any fabric in her way. And sometimes when they're sleeping, it's nice to actually tuck the opposite. She's not gonna like it because she's awake, but tuck the opposite side. So, but you wanna make sure this is the back of their head that's getting tucked. Oh, I know those hiccups are making you mad. So you don't wanna tuck their head and have their head forced into your chest or have their airway restricted at all. You want to make sure that you can see their face at all times. So that means not having their face covered in fabric like this. And sometimes you can just easily adjust them and shift them over to the opposite side a little bit more if that's causing any problems. Another big thing, especially with newborns, is we want to make sure that their chin isn't on their chest. So sometimes they'll tend to kind of slide towards one side or the other, and their chin will go like this. We want to make sure that we keep their chin up. You want 2 fingers in between their chin and their chest, and that's to make sure that their airway is nice and open. Sometimes with stretchy wraps, they do tend to shift because of the stretchiness, where like this might come down and this might come spread. So it's okay to just kind of check in and readjust and make sure that your passes are all nice and spread and baby's well supported. So this is what your pocket wrap cross carry should look like. It's nice and spread across my back on both sides, so it's really comfortable for me. If you find that you're having shoulder pain or back pain, check in with this area, because if you end up with your passes bunched really high up on your shoulders and back, that can cause some discomfort. So you can just adjust and pull that fabric away from your neck and your upper back, and you want that just really nice and spread to distribute all the weight evenly. So, all right, this is pocket wrap cross carry with a stretchy wrap, and you can do this with your newborn. Most stretchy wraps go up to about 30 pounds, So just check with the manufacturer recommendations for how long you can wear your baby in these. But it's a great little snuggly front carry. Happy baby wearing. Enjoy.